The launch of the W15 revealed some essential information regarding Mercedes' direction this year and what the team will achieve in the coming season. The car's launch was live-streamed on social media and featured the drivers, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, and the team principal, Toto Wolff. The team's new Challenger is based on an entirely new concept as opposed to last year, and Wolff has previously stated that it is built primarily on new parts. The team struggled to keep up with Red Bull these past 2 years and had to go back to the drawing board to devise a strategy to beat them. The result is the W15, which the team hopes is finally enough to bring them back to the top of the grid. The team especially struggled with how the rear of their car behaved in previous years, and both drivers complained about how unpredictable the car was on corners. This forced them to take corners at a slower rate and explained why the team was so off-pace on certain tracks. Teams in Formula One are given a budget cap for development, and Mercedes technical director James Allison explained how the team was limited in what they could develop on the car. The car features an entirely new chassis and gearbox, which took up most of the budget cap. Allison explained that before the cap was set, teams used to create a new chassis and gearbox almost every year, but it is much rarer in the sport to do the same now. A new chassis and gearbox were standard for each year, pre-budget cap, he explained. The latter usually forces you to choose, but there are teams like us who have opted to change both. There is no doubt that having a new outer casing of the gearbox and at the same time having a new chassis are two big projects that take a part of our financial means. This means that in other parts of the car we have not pushed as much development. Mercedes aims to improve the way the car flows over their car with the new chassis, and the new, smaller housing of the gearbox has allowed them to push their cockpit further back. They hope to regain a better balance while driving and the rear under the driver's control. Allison seems satisfied with the team's efforts but has not promised any specific performance benchmarks. I feel like we delivered on all the things we said we wanted to do. Some aspects are unlimited and therefore you can never be fully satisfied, he added. However, we won't know until we actually get the machine moving. But I think we can say that we feel like we've done a good job. F1 is a relative game. Whether we have worked well enough to be competitive, only time will tell. We don't know what everyone else did. Allison also talked about how they were able to improve the rear end and make the car more stable around the corners. The design of any car is an iterative process, and a long one at that, technical director James Allison explained. It stretches back to last year. A new car enables the team to make bigger alterations that are not possible during the season. These are decisions that are taken during the preceding summer. A big focus has been on improving the previous car's unpredictable rear axle. We have worked hard to ensure that both axles, but particularly the rear axle, retain better control of the tyre than on the W14. There's also been some housekeeping on areas in which we had room for improvement, including the DRS effect and pit stop performance. We feel like we have had a good winter, but F1 is a relative game and only time will tell how big a step we've made. We're focused on getting the most from the car we launch, but we are excited by the development rate that will follow, as the regulations are still young and opportunities abound. He seems pretty confident that the W15 has solved the most significant issue that plagued earlier models, and that the team will be able to find more performance as the season progresses. George Russell also talked about the goals they are trying to achieve with this car and stated that lap times are the one thing they care about the most. It's been months and months of hard work, Russell said. Seeing the car in the wind tunnel, driving the car in the simulator, seeing the livery on a computer screen, and sort of seeing it all come to life as one. It feels like a true honor to get the chance to drive a car for the first time, but then also that anticipation of how it's going to perform, because it doesn't matter how good it looks. We've put some hard work into it, but there's only one thing we all care about, and that's lap time. The car's new livery is bold, combining its signature silver scheme with the modern-era black, and fans love the new design. But it seems that Russell does not care much about how the car looks. His real priority is getting behind the wheel and winning races. Before the event wrapped up, Russell talked about what the team expected from the short test the team conducted at Silverstone. The test is part of the launch day filming process, and teams are not allowed to drive more than 200 kilometers on specific tires. Today is more to sign a car off, he said. Just making sure it runs, there's no fundamentals. I'm sure it'll run smoothly ahead of testing next week in Bahrain. So you want to get out there and drive it in anger, but unfortunately, it's not really the case. Getting some filming for the sponsors, and then time will tell next week. The W15 shows that Mercedes likes to do things their own way, as many of the new aspects of the car do not seem to be taking direct inspiration from any other team. By bringing the cockpit backward, the team has supposedly improved the car's aerodynamic efficiency, and the new P-shaped side pod inlet is unlike any other on the grid. The team also has a new design for their floor and a completely new side pod design, and the team expects these areas to be the focus of further development on the car. The W15 has also shifted to a pushrod rear suspension, resulting in a total overhaul of the mechanical and aerodynamic packaging at the rear of the car. The new system reportedly dramatically improves the aerodynamics towards the back of the car, as well as the stumps and drawbacks that come as a part of the new design. Their new front wing is also a massive change to the car, with the topmost winglet seemingly hanging without being connected to the bodywork. This seems like a violation of the FIA regulations. Still, Mercedes has ingeniously connected the topmost winglet through a wire to the rest of the wing and the nose of the car, which means, technically, the car is not breaking any rules. Only time will tell whether or not FIA allow this new design, but it will surely cause a stir within the paddock if it shows to improve the car's performance. The car's front suspension has also gotten an overhaul, but the team is still following the same pull rod system. The team has taken into account all that they have learned over the last 2 seasons, especially with the new regulations, and have compiled it into this one car. They hope that by slowly improving it, they will be able to challenge for victories again. Wolff was also eager to put the car to its test and was satisfied with what the team had put out for this year. Wolff said, "This is a complete relaunch of a car. It is very different, not only aerodynamically, but underneath the car too. There have been so many mechanical changes which we hope will translate into more performance, more predictability, and a car the drivers can really push." The most important thing is to look inward and what is it that we got wrong. We found some clues, we tried to eliminate as many variables as we could, and the buzz in the company is something I have not seen for so many years. We know it is a big mountain to climb, because if a team is so far ahead, like Red Bull were last year, then it is not easy. But we have a superb driver combination and hopefully a fast car. There are some good ingredients to be back at the front again. Pre-season testing begins in Bahrain next week, but we will not be able to tell how well the car performs compared to others just by those 3 days. We will have to wait for the season's first race 1 week after pre-season testing to figure out where Mercedes lies. What do you think of the W15? Will it be better than last year's car or not? Let us know in the comments below. As always, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Formula One news.